Hello and welcome to Demian Allen's Astrology and Tarot channel, and welcome to the forecast for September 2021 through the imagery and symbolism of the tarot. And today I'm using the Rider-Waite deck, the original Rider-Waite deck from 1971. And if you like the channel, then please subscribe to it. And if you like the video, then press the like button. Okay, let's get started for September 2021. And the first operation of this is to do with the fire element. So the first set of cards is the element of fire, but it's primarily in the opening of the key spread to do with the past, so where we've all collectively come from. And if we look at the first card, well, there it is, the Ten of Swords. I think we can all kind of relate to this. Ten of Swords is interesting because, yes, it's about endings, it's also about beginnings. You can see in the card that past the clouds and the nocturnal rhythms of it is sun. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And we're trying to come to an end of a chapter with this card. We're trying to move on to greener pastures. But it's very, very difficult, this, because we're still adjusting. We're still in that transitional state of adjustment when we're in the Ten of Swords. And when it comes up in a consultation, it's always something's ending. So this period of instability, this period of fear and anxiety is trying to come to a conclusion. I underline the word try. That's a really kind of important aspect to this. When we look at the next pack of cards, we're going to look at the emotional aspect of it, and how we all feel, and whether that element works with the Ten of Swords. So let's have a look. Okay, well, this is interesting because we've got a Major Arcana card, and the Major Arcana card is the Hermit. And the Hermit is taking time out. So we've got this period of trying to come to an end. This is the fire element, which is, right, everything's going to move on. And then we've got the Hermit, which is the collective emotional aspect, which is to do with we still want to keep our distance. We're not sure that we're ready for that transitional time, that leap of faith that the Ten of Swords can symbolize. In fact, we still need time to reflect on the past. We still need time for ourselves. And that's where we are emotionally for September. And we're not quite out of the woods yet. And this is an interesting aspect because, this is an air card in a fire pile, and this is an earth and a water. So the elemental dignities are actually really well. They work really well, which tells me that September is a far more, from an energetic point of view, easier than perhaps August or July has been, because I think we'll know a little bit more where we all are here as well. So from the emotional point of view, we're stepping back. The next card, the air element, is to do with obstacles. What is blocking us? What is causing us problems? And what is the fears that comes involved here? So let's have a look at this. Right, okay, that's another Major Arcana card, and it's strength. And strength represents being strong, being stable, as it says. But this is in the element of air, and sometimes it's that almost like that mentality of stiff upper lip. Carry on, it'll be fine. But that can be an obstacle because it means that we're not necessarily digging deep and finding out what's really motivating us or what we really kind of want. So it's almost like push through, stay strong, and not realizing the emotional aspects that are going on, the undercurrents. And I think this nicely reflects on the Hermit actually here. It's a refusal maybe to actually acknowledge some of the trauma, some of the pain from the past, as depicted by the Ten of Swords, and actually finding it very, very difficult to acknowledge those emotions. So we just carry on, and that can be an obstacle because in the long run, of course, it can lead to a dissatisfaction, um, overtiredness, stress, and I'm talking from a collective point of view. So I think September is literally carry on. Let's keep on going. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But actually, that could be a problem without acknowledging that actually we've come out of a very difficult stage. So there's several aspects here that are kind of interesting. This is a Leo card. It's a fire card. So it's in an air pile, which again, the elemental dignities are really, they work well. Fire and air work really well together. So that's good in that sense. Again, the elemental dignities are working well. But we have to acknowledge ourselves and what we've all been through from a collective point of view. And I think the Hermit and the Strength card, you got Major Arcana cards. Major Arcana cards do tend to be externalized, meaning that they're events in the external world rather than the internal world. And I think from this point of view, it's kind of an interesting aspect because the themes that will play out a lot will be right. Okay, let's carry on. Let's get on with it. Just power on through almost, without that reflection that's needed in order to how do we respond in the future? Do we respond in a different way? And the Earth pile, which is basically the future pile, and gives us a real kind of template for September. Here we have the Ace of Swords. This is the first elemental dignity that doesn't work because this is an Earth pile and this is an air card. And Earth and air are what we would call enemies. But interesting enough, I think the Ace of Swords is about cutting through the debris. It's about getting past the emotional. It's about logic. It's about cutting through stuff and just getting things done. And so there's almost a kind of ignoring what's happened in the recent past. Right, we're all moving forward. This is going to be great, fantastic. Look forward to Christmas, everyone. It's coming around. It's a lot to do with that sort of mentality. And sometimes that could be really, really good when you need to be logical, when you need to be quite reality based and practical. But in the case of this, when you look at the Ten of Swords and the Ace of Swords, and they are the alpha and omega here. What you've got is you've got the end, and of course you've got the beginning. So there is a sense of a new sort of beginning for September, but it's almost like a sense that we're not acknowledging some of the issues from an emotional point of view as much as we should. We're just getting on with it. It's almost like, let's get back to normal. It'll be fine. And keep going, which is the Strength card here, which means that September is an interesting time because, of course, we got the autumn equinox at the end of September. So there is always a sort of transitional time with that. And that kind of continues that theme, particularly at the autumn equinox. So let's just get on with it. It'll be fine. But the underlining aspect of this, we go back to the Ten of Swords, is fear. Fear that we're not quite out the woods yet, that things are still playing out, and we have to be really kind of careful here. We're still, as I said, in that transitional. The light is there, but we're still in that transitional. And I think this is a really kind of interesting September because it's a bit of a turning point of how we respond, whether we reflect, take time out, or whether we just go back to normal or what we see as normal. Very interesting. Anyway, if you do like the video, press the like button and please subscribe to my channel. And thank you very much for watching.